Hi, welcome to the show, Daily Line. I'm Jarvis Symes. This is Greg Dempson. Let's talk basketball, Greg. It's Game 5 tonight. Lakers are hosting the Suns. A lot of people didn't expect that we would even see a Game 5 the way Games 1 and 2 went, but now we're back in L.A., Staples Center. Let's see if the Suns can keep it rolling. It's going to be tough. You've got the book laying 7.5 on L.A., totals 218. We've seen what the over-unders have done in this. The book kind of kept raising the number, and it still kept hitting. Finally snuck under for a few people last
game was what, 221, 221.
221 was the final, and we saw 221.5 for a short time.
And what did it open here at?
219.
What is it now? 218.
Oh, today's game, 218. It kind of seems to be floating around there.
I have an opinion on the over in this game, Jarvis, but a couple interesting little nuggets for you here. Even though the Nuggets aren't in the playoffs,
okay.
But when a playoff series is tied at 2 games apiece, and the Lakers have played Game 5 at home. They've won 7 consecutive playoff games. Now, why are we going into Game 5 tied? Phoenix came home. They were kind of playing a 2-3 zone, and they were a lot more physical. If you watched any of the last game, the Suns were able to go to the foul line a lot more often than the Lakers, and they shot well. Phoenix forced the Lakers' low post scorers to work really hard for those shots, Jarvis, and as a result, that didn't work. So their perimeter shooting by the 3 Lakers, like Artest and Fisher or Brown, they weren't knocking down shots. So even though they scored, I think, 106.5 points per game there, they just, they didn't have enough offense for Phoenix. So they go back tied 2-2. Here's an interesting stat for a coach. They say
Phil Jackson's
going to retire. Yeah, Phil Jackson's stat. His team's in the playoffs 35-0 all time. If he's won the first 2 games of a playoff series. That's remarkable. And he's 53-1 all-time in the playoffs if he's had a lead at any time in that particular series.
Right.
So there's a couple things. What happens tonight? I really like the first half in this game, and I like the home team. In the first half, if you play against a road team that outscore their opponents by 3+ points per game, and they're playing against an opponent after a combined score of 205 or more points in 4 consecutive games, by fading the road team and playing on the home team, you're 86-50, 63% going back to 1996.
That's a large sampling of games.
It's a large sampling, Jarvis. And if you look at what the Lakers have done in the first half in the playoffs against Phoenix, against the Jazz, against the Oklahoma Thunder, they have really kicked butt. Now, this line opened at 4 last night, and I played it at 4. I believe it's 4.5. I do have an official selection on this game. I like the Lakers minus 4.5 in the first half. Shop around. Maybe you can still find a 4. The reason why that total is 4.5 versus a line of 7.5 is because of their dominance in the first half.
Well, you also expect to see that L.A. getting down in the last 2 games, 2-0. Probably a shock to the system. Now, Jackson is obviously a coach. You've talked about his record in the situations. They've got the home court now coming back. You think they're going to come out and play their game right from the get-go. They want to get a lead. I know that in Game 3, I believe I was watching, it was tied after 3 quarters. The Lakers and Phoenix are in these games. They're tight, but LA would like to get to a lead, right?
The last 2 games in Phoenix, they were close for a period of time, and then one team ran away with it. It'll be interesting to see if we could actually have a game in this series that is close from bell to bell.
Right.
I personally would like Phoenix to win. But definitely I don't want them winning in the first half tonight.
So an official play for Greg is laying the points with the Lakers in the first half. Let's get to the best of rest.
Brought to you by
Bookmaker.com. Greg has got some information on the first quarter. I think we're seeing LA minus 2.5 for the first quarter.
I saw 2.5 at quite a few books. I actually saw one book at 3. There's a huge difference there. Obviously, if you're laying 3, you have to win by 4. If you're laying 2.5, obviously you win by 3. The over-under in the first quarter, Jarvis, we'll use the over-under for the best of the rest, and then we'll go for one for the road, okay? The over-under is 55 in the first quarter.
Okay.
The way these 2 teams have played in the first quarter, I have a small lean on the first quarter to go over 55 points. And having said that, I think it's time for one for the road.
Let's have one for the road, brought to you by SportsBetting.com. Greg, now you've got to play on the first quarter.
We have an official play on the first quarter here. Here's how the Lakers have performed in the first quarter in this year's playoffs. I'm going to read these scores off to you. Against the Thunder, 27-13, 26-18, and they were back there for Game 5. They won 31-16 in the first quarter. Against the Jazz, 30-23, at 27-23. Then their first two games against the Suns in the first quarter, 36-24 and 35-26. Those 7 games at home in this year's playoffs, they are 6-0-1 against the number in the first quarter. I have an official one for the road selection on the LA Lakers -2.5 in the first quarter.
This guy was hot yesterday with his play on the Magic to get it done last night. It wasn't never in doubt, right, Greg?
Well, it worked out. That's the main
It
thing.
worked out well. So we've got a play basically from the onefortheroadsportsbetting.com is Lakers -2.5 in the first quarter, and then your official selection for the game, Greg?
Official selection for the game is I like the Lakers -4.5 in the first half.
That is your NBA package. Check out BetRepublic.com for more information on these systems and plays. Also have some other handicappers there sharing their information. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you after this break. We're going to talk Major League Baseball.